Dzisiejsza prezentacja będzie prowadzona przez kolegów Marka i Ralfa z firmy NetBrain. Myślę, że tutaj są to na tą chwilę specjaliści, którzy przekażą nam najwięcej merytorycznych szczegółów w zakresie zarówno technikali, jak i samego programu partnerskiego. Ja ze swojej strony zachęcam do zadawania pytań, czy to mailowo, czy też w trakcie trwania sesji. Będziemy podgląd tutaj w wszelkie zapytania z Państwa strony. Natomiast teraz zapraszam do prezentacji. Gentlemen, stage is yours now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first webinar, what we host together with Prianto on the topic NetBrain, what is basically bringing something what we did manual on networking infrastructure to automation AI supported. I'm here together with Marco. We both cover the Eastern European area. Myself, I'm a strategic account executive. I live in Munich, in Germany, and I do cover Poland now for quite some time in various functions. I worked for different companies like Arista, Cisco before, Citrix, and so on and so forth. So I've had lots of engagement with Poland in various functions, also technical as well as sales functions. This is actually the objective what we have today. So first of all the customers we engage with, they have issues with troubleshooting. So we have here a little bit of a fact sheet, what we like to elaborate on with our partners together on the customer side. So how many tickets do you have per week? How many level 1 engineer, level 2 engineer? What is the mean time to repair and all this? And at the end of the day, what is the outcome from our solution is we reduce noise, for example, unnecessary tickets. Who does not remember when we basically have a network in place of customers of any size that, first of all, when there is an issue with an application, with anything actually IT related, the network is probably part of the reason or the reason for it. But eventually, when we go and dig into details on troubleshooting, and we did conclude the troubleshooting, it was figured out that it was on the application side or some security policy, or else it was, yeah. And this is reducing noise, being very swift in action with in a short time with acting on non-failure. So the proof of innocence actually is something we improve big times. And we have factual customer successes where we can prove that with. And then also the escalation. You know, how do you escalate? How do you basically engage different people and on different aspects, and also the reduction of the time to solve a problem. And then last but not least, also the change. We want to reduce the human error. And if there basically is a failure found somewhere, we can actually check the entire network if that failure is anywhere else present in the network. So, and that on a continuous basis. Just to be also on the agenda a little bit, I keep the presentation very short and sweet because I think everybody should be or is probably more interested in the demo, what Mark will basically facilitate right after my couple of slides I have here. Please ask any questions at any time, yeah, if there is actually anything coming up. So just a brief one on how we do things. So we do a network discovery. We investigate or we analyze the network. We discover the network for thousands of devices. So we have customers up to 250,000 devices with 2,000 end customers. So also rather large networks we can discover actually in a very short period of time. And that is done over SNMP. We do also CLI discovery, and last but not least, also API to retrieve information from the network, what is actually out there. We also check configuration in that discovery, and we have thousands of intents actually we can run against those configuration and see what is really wrong, what is not quite right, what is not actually according to your policy. And that is all network wide. After you basically have all that and you have maps and everything available, you checked against the rule. We have the AI supporting you for troubleshooting, ticket analyzing, fully automated processes with also proof of innocence and reducing the noise, like we said on the earlier slide. We do all that. So now the outcome is automated workflows. And automated workflows, like anything you do in your network and planning or in terms of configuration change and so on and so forth, should be up to date on valid maps. And that's what we are born with. 20 years ago, we've been very much focusing on documentation and discovery. So that's basically, since more than 20 years, our main objective. We then go into runbooks where we automate certain processes, what are reoccurring on your side. And last but not least, also preventive measures on dashboards, where you basically have things lining up that there is, for example, from a specific configuration. So we don't just have the CVE according to the device and the software you basically run on that device. We also have the CVE that is relevant to your configuration. And it's become more preventive on a dashboard fashion. But more to come afterwards. But in general, and I don't want to kill you with too many slides here because the demo will basically explain that a lot more. We want to make the manual workflow, the manual troubleshooting, an automated workflow and an automated troubleshooting. So whatever is triggered from your, let's say, ServiceNow is basically triggering an analysis on our side and giving something back, actually, what is a result in terms of you need to change something, or giving something back like a result, no, network is actually all clean and working perfect, so that the ticket can be moved on to the relevant next party. The other thing is level 1 and level 2 engineers. So we have loads of them. And we do also have often enough knowledge gaps in level 1, level 2 engineers that they cannot do necessarily BGP troubleshooting. So you might need a level 3 engineer. But what if we have actually the runbook, what a level 3 engineer has developed, so that a level 1 or 2 engineer can actually leverage that runbook. So the automated workflow and the accelerated diagnosis related to that. Fixing issues. Fixing issues is an issue by itself because it always implies it's profound of human errors. Yeah, and if you have someone imposing a change on the network infrastructure, what is less skilled, you might want to have others looking at it, and with procedures, with also diagnosis, we can actually avoid and reduce the human error to the most extent. And then post-mortem assessment, we need to assess the network constantly. We need to check if the configuration has been shifted or if there is actually a security issue arising, that there is something what you have as defined golden configuration has been moving out. So if something is drifting, you want to identify that. And that's just one example out of many for the post-mortem topics. Now, those are the licenses when it comes to the basic. Is a node management. You can do path analysis. You can actually do the documentation and all this on the base license already. But if you want to have more, there is a module for change management, application assurance, preventive automation, as well as enterprise license agreement and AMS as a service, what we basically propose for the first year in order to implement your solution and help you to onboard your people with defined runbooks and so on and so forth. Yeah. So change management and so CM and PA is actually the most common ones. Application assurance is some customers are using it and are super happy with it, but we find most common in the market the base license, obviously, and then the change management and PA. So it's a big bouquet of flowers and good things what we do together with a partner. And we're all committed to make the Polish market as well as the whole of Eastern Europe very successful with the services and the support we offer. One thing is also to keep in mind that Marco, myself, we have a big advantage overview, and this is that we do NetBrain only. So we do everyday demos, we do everyday presentations on NetBrain, and we engage with customers related to NetBrain business on various occasions. We are vendor agnostic, but we still have knowledge if it is Cisco, Arista, if it's Extreme, Juniper, God knows what, or on Fortinet, Checkpoint, Palo Alto on the security side. We do bring a lot of knowledge on that as well, but we focus completely on the relevance of NetBrain, and that's an advantage we have. I know you partners, you have a huge portfolio and you need to have lots of knowledge in so many other areas. So then don't bother engaging us. Go for engaging with us, joint value proposition with us. We don't take any business away from you. We help you to win the business. Now, that is the last one, and it's also requiring obviously a certification in that sense, but more a training. What you need to participate and conclude on, and this is that you have a virtual demo environment where there are a couple of devices, different kinds, and you can actually demonstrate the solution in a virtual environment for the customers. This is very much what Marco is doing afterwards as well, so you do get a glance of, and that's why I would head over, if there are not any questions, right away to Marco.
Yeah, hi from my side. I think I got already introduced, so only missing information is the size of my shoes. It's 45, so in case you are very interested in this. No, I'm one of 6 pre-sales engineers here at NetBrain, helping to support distribution partners and customers with demos, POCs. So very happy to see that many people dedicating time for us, and happy to engage together with Ralph and Prianto. So let's dive right into this. So the first phase, I would like to show how we built the model for this, how to automate, and how we can really help to reduce mean time to repair and even drive some prevention. Like you saw on Ralph's slide, we start, of course, maybe obvious, with discovery. So we do this very deep, but also very fast. So we can discover by using the well-known protocols, SNMP, SSH. So we discover entire networks via different mechanisms. You can even import data here. And it's not that we discover your legacy devices or your customer legacy devices like switches, routers, firewalls, load balancers. We can also check the Wi-Fi controllers. We can connect via API, an example, to SD-WAN controllers or to firewall managers to pull policy information and additional information. So we have a very deep and broad support for many technology, for many different vendors. So there's a very long list available that we can also share, that you can go through and check. So we can see, of course, NSX, Cloud, Ralph, I think, mentioned the most of those. Not only the big ones are there, like Cisco, Juniper, Extreme, Huawei, Nokia, also many other vendors. I mean, F5, Vitella, you name it. All of this is being supported. So once we have discovered this, you not only see configuration files, you not only get interface statistics. So let me dive into this a little bit more. By the way, we call this the digital twin. So NetBrain wants to build a digital twin of your most complex hybrid network. So we are doing this for many years. So I'm really proud to say we are very good at this. So let's start simple. Maybe just to show some of the results, some of the outcomes of this discovery and scanning. I can just simply select one device, maybe start with one of the routers and map this. Okay. So by drilling into this now, you can see what kind of data we are collecting. Of course, it's standard details like for inventory or asset management, which, by the way, can be easily exported in CSV or any other formats. But you can also connect to your customer's CMDB database to synchronize. So, of course, device details, interface, but also configuration files. And we back up the configuration files, and just with another click, you can easily compare configuration maybe to find some differences. I think the lab seems to be quite stable the last few days, the demo lab, so I'm picking maybe a configuration from an older day to see. Okay, still not showing any um, difference. So this is, I mean, good for the network, bad for the demo, right? So let me give me one more chance to pick one. Okay, here we can see the lines that have been added. So very easy to spot and to identify changes even with a few clicks. And then there's much more. So topology-wise, we do collect data like the neighbor information, so we can show layer 3 information. This also includes overlay, by the way. So if you have IPsec tunnels or other overlay protocols, this goes even into MPLS, VRFs, labels, you name it. So we have good understanding of this. And not to forget, because this is critical, I mean, layer 2. And there's even more. So on the data tables, you see, of course, standard things like routing tables, but also ARP table, MAC table, and not to forget specific tables, maybe BGP, OSPF, HA status, maybe when it comes to failover configuration. You can see MPLS details, nutting tables, very specific tables can be collected, even down to firewall policies that we are collecting, which are very helpful, what I will show you later on. So to start very simple and to show you now, we can make use of the topology information that we collected automatically. So no longer document manually by these spending hours of time having documents. They will never be finished. They will never be complete. So let's use NetBrain for this in future. So just you see 27 neighbors. I will just make sure that I'm only fetching those devices that are true routers. So I will add a few devices here to the map, and easily you have your map. Now you can start sorting this, and it's way easier to keep this up to date, save this. And now it's also easy, ladies and gentlemen, to collaborate on this, right? So you can share this with others, but you can also export this still into a nice Visio or Word format. So here you go. Of course, I mean, in production, you would specify the sites, you would map the IP addresses, host names, so that your customer's network is represented nicely by sites, by location, by functions, by groups. Okay, so once we have achieved this visibility, and I do have another example that also shows the very similar views that we get into Cisco ACI, Kubernetes, cloud, you name it. So, but let's take this example for a moment, and we can now take a look into some automations that we can provide. What also was mentioned on Raul's slide, you might remember, is not only just to collect information, we also do assess and analyze configuration and states. So this could be coming from our assessment library, and it could be also you as the partner or the customer, you define your own rules for design, for security, for conditions, and then those rules can be continuously checked. To consume the results, we just dive in here a little bit. So you can see in the insights, we have these automation insights where you already get the results. So now you might say, okay, this is boring because we got monitoring in place. So I might agree for the first few steps where you have some, let's say, basic checks against CPU memory interface issues. So you name it, you get like nice little graphs, and maybe there's a spike or an alert, and you can immediately see what's the alert here. And we do this mainly based on CLI commands, which is very good to know. We parse out this, which makes it much more granular, much more powerful compared to SNMP polling only. Yeah. So you can always zoom into these alerts and check on those further. But we have more categories, right? Because we really want to enhance or complement the monitoring and the assessment of the customer's network. So we can automate checks, let's say on switching, to check spanning tree conditions, configurations, but also, of course, routing. Maybe we can pick another example, BGP. Maybe there's something going on. You want to compare BGP state changes, or you want to check on if the number of prefixes, the number of routes are being correct. So you can always dive in here. You get to the point, and immediately you find the 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 drift or the issue. And again, it comes always, I mean, troubleshooting is all about comparing, right? So we can easily see, oh, someone has added a few lines in this access list. So this is the reason why some flows, some applications, some users are disconnected, complaining, whatever. So that's very easy to prove and find the root cause. But sometimes it's also good to prove the innocence, right? So I mean, all networkers would love to say, okay, here you have it, network is fine, we have no issues, please check somewhere else. So this is all what we call about assessment. So again, a lot of those checks come from the library. Some can easily be added by you as a partner or the customer or our teams to make this more specific. So other categories might be around HA and redundancy to make sure that the failover configuration between the firewalls is not just enabled, it's configured properly, it operates as expected. So once a failover occurs, it really works. Services like multicast checks, quality of service checks. Here we come down to some security elements. You want to probably check that there is no insecure protocol enabled. There are no plain text passwords, that we are using the latest version of configuration. And we can even check what Ralph mentioned, if we have a match against the CVEs that are applicable. Okay, so this is about the assessments that can run continuously. I will show later about the dashboards, how to consume this, because you want to do this network wide to be in the best position. So what we can also do now, coming to the AI portion of this, we can leverage now AI to ask questions and to basically talk natural language with NetBrain. So it makes it also very easy for user adoption. Yeah, so you don't need to be the NetBrain expert. So you can just either use some predefined prompts, or you can write your own prompts, and then it will use agentic AI to help you troubleshoot issues. Yeah, so, and it will also consume all the automations and the assessments that NetBrain has delivered. So in this case, maybe we can check some, because I think there were some BGP issues, right? So we can decide to go for some troubleshooting for BGP and ask to get help from the AI insights. Yeah, so let's run this, and now you can see AI wants to check and see what can be done around BGP issues. It will execute CLI commands, it will start compare, and at the end, it will even give you a nice summary of the findings and next steps and recommendations. So I think this is very cool to have, instead of bringing all experts together, collecting information, comparing. So you can use those AI insights functionality to speed up the troubleshooting, to do the findings much quicker. Okay, so this is taking some time because, as I said, we take a lot of information, a lot of options into consideration. So this is something we can keep running. And while this is running, okay, now it's starting to get some output. You can see the commands, you can check the results. What we are doing basically here, the state checks, if there is an alert, so you can see it was executing this command, and it seems that some neighbors are down or in idle state. So this is all happening now. I mean, I'm not even a BGP expert, but I think I can interpret this and take action on this. Yeah, so now it's checking configurations, doing more checks on this, and hopefully at the end it will even summarize this nicely to me. So this is one idea. We have more options to help you and your customers to troubleshoot. We can also integrate nicely with existing tools that you or the customer have. So we can connect to your ticket system, we can connect to your monitoring system, to your log system, to pull more data and bring them on those maps. So all the data will be there. So it will be your go-to console, NetBrain, to identify issues and to compare the data from the different sources you have. Yeah. So let's say this is for the visualization and for the one-time checking. I want to dive a little bit more into a troubleshooting scenario, and let's see if this has finished. Yeah, so we checked. It seems there are some BGP neighbors in idling state. One is established, so you can see the key findings. And I think this is very good to have the alerts. So now the engineer knows immediately where to check and what to check. So this is very, very good outcome. Okay, to move on and to show you how, remember one of the slides earlier, to transform manual workflows into automated workflows. This is by using runbooks. So let me open a fresh, clean new map for you to show. The runbooks basically can be templates of steps to show and to being used for different kind of troubleshooting. Yeah, so you can have categories, and the idea is you or the customer build their own runbooks troubleshooting steps, recording basically the manual steps that they do today, digitize them, make them available for other engineers as well. So let's pick some application issues, and we open this runbook on a new map. So let's assume someone is complaining from a remote office, cannot connect any longer to a server, or maybe having, I think, voice issues might be a famous and most common example. So I'm typing source IP address on the client that I'm at the phone, or looking into my Jira ticket, and specifying the server that this application or this user trying to reach. So by this we can show the power of NetBrain Digital Twin and the path calculation. So now you can see the run book. More steps can be added, but I will just quickly go through all of the steps so you can understand how we can help to transform the manual workflow. So first of all, remember, we want to visualize and map this. So let's give it a go. So now NetBrain will go in either live or check the database. In this case, it's actually a live evaluation. We check hop by hop, and it's not a simple trace route, please. It's much more. So we do this. We evaluate each configurations, NUTting, VPN, load balancer rules, and I mean, if it goes through cloud or SDN, we check the security groups, the VNets, the VPCs, the gateways that are in between. So all of this will be checked. If there are multiple hops available, we can even show multiple hops. I think this example even shows some alternate routes, so you can see them there. Now the good thing is it gives a lot of details, and it can also be used again to prove that connectivity is all good, and not just from purely pinging or trace routing again. So this is much more. So you can see, if you want to dive in, we can even enable layer 2 views. So to see there might be a switch in between that is very interesting. And you can check each of the steps that NetBrain has assessed and evaluated. So again, we check the routing tables to find the next hop. Maybe there's some quality of service on a switch. Maybe there are not that much steps to evaluate on the control plane. But then on a firewall, it might become more interesting, because we not just check the routing table, we also check the policy, and we can tell if the firewall is blocking this traffic or if this is being permitted. Yeah, so a lot of checks. I mean, this is just a simple demo environment. Not a lot of configuration is going on, but you can see we do a lot of checks if this is enabled, so we can check many things. As I mentioned, NUTting, VPN, MPLS labels, overlay, underlay, all of this will be evaluated. This is a huge time saver, and if we present this to customers, it gives a big wow effect. Yeah. So let's take this a step further. Again, this was end-to-end pass calculation, but coming back to the run book where we started. Now, remember what I wrote earlier. Now we want to make automated checks. So as part of this template, we already have these assessments. I just need to refresh so that the devices will be onboarded here into this check. So let me just do this. They should come up now, and then you will see, yeah, okay, you will see similar results like the results before. So, but now it's in context to this troubleshooting pass. Okay, so you can scroll through, you can spot any issues. In this case, remember we have someone complaining about voice issues. So let's see if we do also assess some voice diagnoses, and no surprise, otherwise it would not be a good demo. So we do some various checks with regards to the voice application. So again, here you can drill down, you can see we do some latency checks to ping the next tops and to see if there is any out of the ordinary. But here all of a sudden we can see some output drops detected. I mean, we can run this always live to check if the issue is still the same or if it's maybe changed or moved or gone even. But it seems even checking now, the issue seems still to persist. Let's minimize this a little bit so you can also see this on the map, and this makes it very simple to troubleshoot. The last step would be now, okay, what's the reason for these drops? Because I mean, the big magic is to get to the root cause, to answer the why question, right? So let me see what else we are checking against voice, and it looks like we also have, we have some errors for the quality of service map. So let's see what we get out of this. And we can see there are some errors. So it might be that there is also some drift or some configurations are not following your standards. So, and big surprise, there is the golden config. It should contain 45,000 bandwidth, but someone missed a zero, so it's only 4,500. So this is the reason for the poor voice quality. You can now easily fix this. Okay, so that's the whole idea, to really speed up the troubleshooting by automating this. So now you might want to share this with others, or you are working collaboratively with your clients or with other suppliers, then you can document this nicely. So this is where we can generate, for example, some Word documents, and we can just hand this out or keep this for reference. Of course, you can customize this a lot. Let me quickly create one. Okay, first I need to save the map. That makes totally sense. And again, here you can leverage AI to make a nice summary that highlights the alerts only, or that makes a high-level summary for your manager or for your customer to send over. So this is all built in and makes troubleshooting much more efficient. So let's see, there's a download. So you see the second. Of course, you want to put your logo, your colors in there, or your customer colors, and then you get all of this. You can see you can see the map, and I did not do much checks, but if I would include some device data or more checks, all the results will be documented nicely here. Yes. Okay. Just checking time-wise. Okay. Few minutes left, I think. Yeah, again, AI can be used, like maybe some of you are already using in other areas. Now you can prompt and say, okay, let's give me this as an executive summary, or highlight any issues and translate into local language, into Polish, for example. That's something that AI can do for us here. Okay, so now coming to the to the post-mortem piece a little bit. So this is nice. This is an interactive troubleshooting. Oh, I almost forgot, sorry. So, I mean, we can also embed this nicely into the whole workflow to start this from an alert. So you might have customers using Jira, Helpline, Remedy. In our case, I'm having ServiceNow. So we can get triggered. And then it's a machine-to-machine effect, and we apply human troubleshooting knowledge at machine speed. So to say, we can analyze this again with some AI and apply some NetBrain automations against this, put back the results into the ticket, and even again, I mean, it includes the same example that I used before. So it identifies the drops, it shows that there's a drift detected, even some duplex mismatches, and then it gives you a summary. It will be reported back into the ticket. In some cases, if it's just maybe false positive tickets, we can even automatically close tickets, reducing the noise, which was Ralph, I think, referring on the slides earlier. So very nicely to integrate this. Yeah, so before we come to the final part of the demonstration is about the post-mortem now. So imagine this is good, you found this, but now I think it's in everyone's interest to make sure this is not popping up again, same place or different place. And by the way, if you host this and you operate in a managed service model and you have multiple customers running on your NetBrain platform, because we are multi-tenant capable, so now you can make sure that this will be continuously scheduled and run, and you will get alerts. You can create new tickets if we find these issues. Yeah. So in order to, I mean, keep still a good overview and to understand, this is where we have the dashboards. Let me pull one of the dashboards. This is changing the perspective a little bit. This is now doing assessments against some common security rules. Maybe it could be also, you can see here NIST, DORA, you might be familiar with, or your customer has their own policies that they have to follow. So you can check various things coming from the library at your own things you want to check against: insecure protocols, password enforcement, if Telnet is still enabled. So, I mean, you name it. A lot of checks can be done, easily interpreted here and consumed. You can always drill down and click, and there are some specific firewall checks that we do, threat, AWS, Palo Alto. We can see assessment, checking disk space. I mean, it's almost endless. Whatever you can get out of the device by CLI or API, we can assess and check and show on the dashboard. That geolocation map. Okay, let's refresh so you can see this also nicely on the map. Yeah. This is just one example. We have a lot of different examples, but coming to the point, which is very interesting for many of our customers, to detect config drifts. So in this case, idea is to also represent this nicely in a dashboard. So we can also remediate. Yeah. So if an out of compliance situation, config change, we can also ask NetBrain to help and to assist to fix this. What I'm showing here is by region. So let's pick at least EMEA, and we can see some alerts. Even if it's severity 3 and just on one switch. Let's dive into this a little bit. And we can see there is some NTP issues. Okay, so maybe someone forget to update the NTP configuration. It does not match with the golden standard. So by checking this now live, you can revert this back to the golden configuration, and by clicking yes, you will be handed over to our change management module, where you can do very securely, well documenting doing changes. So you can do checks before, during, and after the change, document, get AI help to do the changes, roll this out. Of course, a good change always have a rollback defined. So this is probably taking another 20 minutes to demo, but I just want to make sure you also get this piece, that we can do remediation for this. I want to end this by showing what I did show in the beginning, but now let's say more comprehensive, not just on-prem legacy devices. Now we mentioned maybe too often that we also do support cloud. So here's the evidence. You can see all the different. You can easily go into the details. So, and again, you or your customer don't need to be the expert on this. They don't need to log into thousands of different consoles, understand and interpret. It's very easily here to click and then to consume it from here. This is democratized the data, AWS, Azure, Google, different versions of SDN. So we have here Cisco ACI, Kubernetes, NSX. So again, hybrid networks are more than welcome to be discovered and analyzed by NetBrain, and there seems to be still one pass. As you might remember, I mentioned my simple pass from the beginning. This is a much more complex pass. It had a lot of more hops. It crossing a lot of different technologies and vendors, Viptela, SD-WAN, checkpoint firewall. It goes through some classical switching, and then we also head into the cloud and to get all the details out here, so we can see this. Very powerful. And again, you can now apply different automations and consume them. That's basically the end of my demo. I hope you enjoyed, and maybe we can hand it back to Ralph or Marta to conclude or open for Q&A. Thank you.
Now, we've been talking super much. We've been giving a lot of information, and even though we would still appreciate a little bit of feedback, how valuable it was, or if there is any questions, we would also like to answer those. Exactly. And don't think that, I didn't get it at the first time. So seeing the demo multiple times and also try it out yourself will actually change the world for you. And we're here to support both of us, Marco, myself, and the whole of NetBrain. So as we have an indirect sales model through Prianto with partners, please work with us.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you for the presentation. A Państwu bardzo dziękuję za wysłuchanie dzisiejszej sesji. Mam nadzieję, że znajdzie to rozwiązanie zastosowanie u Państwa klientów. My oczywiście zarówno team po stronie Prianto, jak koledzy z NetBrain Technologies zostajemy do Państwa dyspozycji. Jeśli pojawią się jakieś pytania, to najprawdopodobniej do końca tygodnia otrzymacie Państwo podsumowanie dzisiejszego webinarium z kontaktami do nas. W związku z tym proszę, jeśli pojawią się jakieś pytania, zainteresowania, czy będziecie się Państwo chcieli podzielić feedbackiem z nami, jak oceniacie to rozwiązanie, to na pewno będziemy bardzo zobowiązani. A tymczasem bardzo dziękuję za poświęcony czas i nie pozostaje mi nic innego, jak życzyć miłego, udanego i słonecznego popołudnia.